So we have two GDEs, two developer advocates, and one giant event, the Google Cloud next year. Everybody, like you said on social media, it's hyping about, oh, I built a Jira clone, I built an Asana clone.
Yep.
Now I don't need Twilio for SMS. I can build my own Twilio. Some people are even claiming they're not even working anymore. They're just controlling agents. And I don't even think that's true. Tell me about you. Like, how do you feel about this particular topic? I read a paper that you take some people over 6 months that uses AI for their day-to-day, creating documents, what have you, whatever they do, and then they took other people and they did not allow them to use any AI tool.
Okay.
So they noticed the cognitive load of their brain for the people who use AI for a lot of stuff just went down. So that means we are impacting our brains by just delegating a lot of things to AI, writing an email, creating a proposal. It's impacting my cognitive load and the way that I perform in my brain. And I'm with my friend Rishab. Hey, Rishab. How's it going?
Kevin.
It's a pleasure to see you again. We have been seeing each other in different events, different topics. That's part of the life of a developer advocate, right? Just being at conferences. But this one is a little bit special because last year we did not hear about agents at all, or not at the level that we have today in this particular event right now. And everybody's just talking about agents. So we just wanted to unveil and talk a little bit about what agents actually mean, what is the impact of that for developers and for people using AI, and just try to digest it in a much simpler way. So the whole idea of this conversation between you and me, Rishab, is just to understand what this actually means for people that are either technologists or developers, and people who are not technologists, and maybe they are starting to see what vibe coding is, that they can maybe create their own product or solve their own problems, but they're just overwhelmed by this whole agentic workforce that everybody's just talking about. I feel overwhelmed about AI, and I've been working in tech for a long time, so I cannot imagine for people. So tell me about you. Like, how do you feel about this particular topic, and if you feel overwhelmed, how are you processing all of this, basically?
It's hard, I would say, especially I think being at an event, it's a different. Okay, I'll preface this. Even when we are not at an event, I think the whole AI space and industry is moving so fast that you feel overwhelmed on
Yeah.
socials like X, Twitter, or LinkedIn. It's hard to keep up with all the announcements. Now, amplify that because at a conference like Google Cloud Next, it's happening every hour because they're announcing something new. There's a keynote, there's a talk, there's a developer keynote. So it's hard to keep up. I think I don't know if it's a solution, but I try to look at things that are very relevant to me,
Exactly.
or things that, I'm going to go and build on.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep can be a paper or pencil, can be, an Apple Note or whatever your device is. So I have jot down notes on, oh, I need to check out this service and build something, because sometimes talking to people also bring up ideas.
Yes.
Like, oh, this would be a cool project.
True.
But then because of so much information overload,
Right.
over 2 or 3 days, when you go back, you forget about them.
Exactly.
So I try to take voice notes as well, that I need to,
That's
build something out of this because this is so fascinating or kind of aligns with my role or something that I'm building at work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only focus on those 2 or 3 announcements.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's true. Yeah, I think around 250, it's the ish number that they announce in new products or changes to existing products. So it's really hard to digest that for just the standard human being. But what you said is true. Whatever is around your area, try to focus. If you work a lot with databases, just try to find what's in the agentic space for databases. Like if you're doing stuff with BigQuery or with SQL or MongoDB or whatever your tool is for your backend, just try to focus on that. Everybody, like you said on social media, it's hyping about, oh, I built a clone, a Jira clone, I built an Asana clone.
Yep.
Now I don't need Twilio for SMS. I can build my own Twilio. You work at Twilio, I work in Asana, and you probably hear that a lot, and I hear that myself. But there's obviously a bigger value about building a solution that can help you do something that you normally do in these tools. So there's just a lot of hype. So like you said, processing it to your own present, try to look through the noise of everything that is just being said on social media, and just try to find one thing of your current workflow that you can improve with AI. And I think that's the beginning, because everybody's just talking about how they have a bunch of agents, and now they are automating social media posts and video creation and your document creation, and they have analysis, and some people are even claiming they're not even working anymore; they're just controlling agents. And I don't even think that's true, but that's why I think the recommendation of cutting through the noise is a really good recommendation.
Definitely. I would also say just breathe.
Exactly, breathe.
Like take a deep breath, and then, as you said, like pick one or two very relevant to your job role or something you're interested in, and I think that'll help you with the overwhelmness that you might get through all these announcements and the hype that is being created.
That's good. So I wanted to ask you about your current day to day. How does that look like? For me, it's been changing a lot, because as a developer advocate, we kind of do a lot of things between documentation, trying to go and talk at different events, maybe talk to the community, trying to build awareness and more growth, etc. So there are different things that I do in my day-to-day job that is not coding. Coding is a big portion. Yeah, I create demos. I have to test what the engineering team is going to be launching, so I can be prepared myself to talk to the developers and the partners about what Asana is launching. But in long story short, there are so many different tools that I use here and there to accommodate my job that I cannot just say this is the one single tool that I use. Like I use Claude for some stuff, I use Gemini for some stuff. There are different tools that I mix and match to do my day to day. For example, if I'm doing some script for videos, like I have my own skills in Claude for the way that I like to talk. It's trained with the data about me, about who I am, about the different stack that I like to talk about. But for other things, for example, for company work, we use Gemini. From a security standpoint, the organization, everything is secure. So I have my gems in Gemini. So again, it's a mix and match. But I wanted to ask you, like for you, how does your day-to-day look like, and what AI tools you use? Because a lot of people just say, I use AI for a lot of stuff, but they don't really elaborate on that. So I wanted just to get a brief on what you actually use.
Definitely. I would say it's a mix, because every tool has its own strengths, and I still consider, because we code certain times, so there's certain aspects of us still being a developer.
Exactly.
Hence the title is developer relations. But so as a developer, you are kind of opinionated. Earlier it used to be which IDE is better, and then some developers would say Visual Studio, others would say IntelliJ. So I think in those terms, I definitely have an opinion on like, oh, Cloud Code works better for my workflow, and I like the way it feels and the code it generates, and that is strictly for like code generation, I would say. Then I also use Copilot, because I try to experiment with different models. I've been liking the Codex model as well.
Yeah, Codex great.
So it's been interesting in terms of coding. But then, as you said, like for, I would say, not content creation, but any kind of, creating or drafting something like a blog post or something else, I ideate with Gemini. I don't like ask Gemini to write it, but I do have skills. So and not my personal skills, but like agent skills that are built into, well, they're on my like home or directory. So I can use it with Gemini CLI or Cloud Code or even Codex or Copilot. It works across CLI tools. But yeah, I've been using that. There was another skill. I think it's called Dev Advocate.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Um, I think I can't remember the name of the creator. I think Greg, maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could be wrong.
yeah,
But they're also in DevRel, so shout out to them.
yeah.
It has all the skills. It is one skill, but it has all the skills that are needed for developer relations.
Yeah, like
So
apply through CFP or propose a session or create a well-structured documentation.
exactly. And in the beginning, when you initialize it, you can give it examples of your writing, your voice.
It's great.
So, like if you can pull transcripts of your YouTube video on how you talk, of course, because you have your own style, I have my own style, and that can be part of that skill. And then it generates those assets of like CFPs or draft blog posts and stuff. I think I discovered it 2 weeks or a week ago, so haven't tried it too much, but that's something that I've been looking into. And then I have my own, like, as you said, custom skills that help me through different things. One I like is this. It's a LinkedIn slash X Twitter post
Yeah.
thingy. It has all the context that it needs from my past tweets on how my language sounds and my voice sounds
Yeah.
in terms of like written content. So it copies that because I hate AI slop.
Yeah, I hate that. And I think I'm really good at detecting AI slop. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's really easy to just see, oh, this is AI. And then you see a comment and it's also AI. So right now it's just AI talking to AI, pretending to be humans in their profiles. So it's intense.
It is intense. So, and also I only try to automate stuff that I don't like.
That's it. That's a good principle.
Like, why would I automate? So, like, example, video creation. Like, I love the pursuit of sitting down, giving a demo on something that I built, talking over it about like why I built it, why I'm passionate about this. I don't want to automate that because I enjoy the craft of doing it.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's like a tip on like automate
Good. Yes.
or use AI in things that you don't like or are cumbersome to do.
That's true, and I think that's a really good principle because at the end we all kind of bring a sense of ourselves to our job, and if somehow we just delegate that craft to a tool, um, those tools are obviously created in a way that a lot of people will might have the same experience. Like we see that with posts, they all have emojis and they'll
Yep.
say, "In the world of blah 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 blah,
Yes.
this isn't just blah 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 blah. This is about blah blah blah." Like I kind of
And there's a comparison always. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly, and everybody talk about the M dash. Like
Yep.
now I see an M dash, it's just AI, but that's not the reality. But long story short, what you said, I think it's really impactful because if you enjoy and your craft is writing or editing or talking in a certain way, like you shouldn't delegate that to an AI. Like just try to get rid of the boring stuff with
Yeah.
AI. If for you coming up with ideas is boring, which is something that I do a lot, like I have an agent that is just Googling every day
Mhm.
about trending topics,
Nice.
and I have a skill that just kind of create a draft for me, and then I just evaluate the draft because for me, I I don't have a lot of time to investigate about topics. But when it comes to writing, I really try to avoid AI for writing because again, it feels very sloppy or very generalistic. But for other stuff like distributing, yeah, I try to delegate. So I think your point is super valid for a lot of people. Like, don't delegate things to AI that defines the key difference between who you are
Yep.
and what everybody else is. Because when I go to YouTube and I see your videos, like I feel Rishab over there. And if I just delegate it to AI, like, you can use Seed Dance or VO
Yep.
or any AI generator to kind of generate a video, it will be decent. It will have some views, but it's not your scent. So I think in a way, also for work, for me, it's been really hard because I want to speed up things. Like I can use AI to speed up things, but my boss and my leaders, we all see AI. Like we all understand, like this was generated with AI. Where is Kevin in this particular documentation or this demo?
Got it.
So there's a trade-off between I want to be fast, I want to take advantage of AI, but also
Yep.
I want to keep my ascent, and I don't want to feel like just any other AI tool out there. So long story short, just to kind of close up this topic, um, what should people try to do when it comes to maintaining their ascent and but still being proactive and trying to keep up with technology? Because some people said AI is not going to take your job. Someone who uses AI might take your job.
Yeah.
In certain way, we live in a world of profitability and speed, and obviously, like if you don't produce fast enough than others, then they might take your job. So it's a balance. But long story short, what's that trade-off for you?
I think it's very subjective in the sense like what your role is at the company, how your leaders are, aligned in if I'm doing a good job or not, if you are doing a good job or not. And I think it's nice to have those conversations up front
That's good.
with them to so that you're aligned. Like, what are your deliverables? What is success in your role look like?
Mhm.
And then I am I am I firmly believe that there are going to be parts of everyone's job that they hate.
Yeah.
Or hate is a strong word, but you don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would deliberately focus like this automation and AI agents and stuff towards that, but still make sure that you as a human are outputting stuff
Mhm.
that you feel proud of. And like if you really feel good about something that you put out, it doesn't have to be content, it can be anything internal as well, depending on your role. I'm pretty sure the leadership and your managers will be happy with that
That's true.
as long as it's valuable to them and the company. Because mind you, we
Mm.
all kind of work for, you know, corporations that are based in the capitalist America, so
Yeah.
or the US, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously, that's a whole different topic that maybe at some point we can discuss, which, we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, but I'd love to just to get your opinion on. So, long story short, I read a paper that, you take some people over 6 months that uses AI for the day to day, creating
Hmm.
documents, what have you, whatever they do. And then they took other people and they did not allow them to use any AI tool.
Okay.
So they noticed the cognitive load of their brain for the people who use AI for a lot of stuff just went down. So that means
Mm.
we are impacting our brains by just delegating a lot of the things to AI, writing an email, creating a proposal. Deep research is great. I can literally just go to Notebook LM, hey, do a research about these topics, and it speed up things. It will take me weeks to do that research myself. But again, it's impacting my cognitive load and the way that I perform in my brain. And the study also mentioned that that was noticeable in a shorter version with calculators.
Yes.
People before calculators, they had the chance to do kind of basic complex math, but now with calculators that went down. Like, and for me, that's the reality. Like, if you give me a basic kind of weird number, a what's, I don't know, 355 multiplied by or times by 176, like, I'm not going to do that out of my brain. She's going to a calculator. People used to be able to do that. So my question, long story short, is there is an impact as we are offloading a lot of our brain activity literally to AI to do stuff for us. What do you think about that? Like, for me, it's interesting because AI is not just being a tool; it's decising a lot of the different um, thoughts that even people are having. There's a lot of people who use ChatGPT as their own therapist. Like,
Yes.
hey, I have this problem with my wife or what have you, or with my mom. Is she wrong or am I wrong? And they're going to be empathic and say, oh, no, they are wrong. You're totally right. You
Yep.
have valid points. And everybody's opinion is being driven by AI right now. So, long story short, what, what do you think about AI going beyond helping us doing
Mm.
stuff in our day to day and actually impacting even our behavior?
Yeah, I think it's very, personally thinking, it's very alarming that that is the case. But like you said, I think calculator is way back. But even with like smartphones as a technology, we saw that with social media, or we are seeing it with social media as we live through it. Is the I don't know if it's a human nature, but to delegate stuff to, like, working through your emotions.
Yeah.
We don't do that because why would we? Because we can get dopamine hit
Yeah.
scrolling on our phone, right?
Exactly.
So we avoid, if I have a conflict with my wife or if I have a conflict in my family or with my boss, we try to avoid it because we can distract ourselves with other mediums.
Exactly.
And I think same is going to happen with AI now, because we're being less creative
Yeah.
and not thinking cognitively enough, where our brain functions like that. Like if we are on this path, I think, I don't know, like 10 years from now, I guarantee you, if you ask someone to write a passage,
Yeah. They won't
like
be able.
like a 20 sentence passage about even their day,
Yeah.
they won't be able to,
No.
because I've seen this firsthand, both with so I'm originally from India, and I didn't had a phone, like a cell phone, until I was in grade 12, which is like 14,
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
13 or 14,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was not smart.
Yeah.
It was like a base. I could just call or
Yeah. Just
text my
phone.
friends. And then I also saw it with calculators. So we were not allowed to use calculators in our high school. But then when I dropped out eventually, but when I went to do engineering, we were allowed calculators. And as soon as like my first semester went by, I was so dependent on it, because
Yeah.
I remember high school myself, that I was able to do calculations in my mind instead of, doing it on the calculator. So I don't have an answer, but I am a bit scared of where we are headed with that.
Yeah. It is. All right. So my final thoughts are: go try something new, but just focus on that thing.
Yeah.
And maybe don't quit it if it doesn't work. Maybe give it just a couple of weeks of, hey, if you're gonna try a new tool or a new MCP server, like really focus on that thing for a while. Just cut the noise of people telling you to focus on something else or wanting to try something else. Delegating, what you just mentioned for me was really impactful. Delegate the things that maybe are boring to you, but keep the things that are passion, because that's your sense. And try not to delegate everything about your thoughts and behavior to AI. It's a tool. For me, that's my personal opinion. It might be even a bubble around AI. So just use it as a tool, but try not to delegate it for your emotions, your thoughts. There are professionals out there that can help you with that, prepare for years to do that. And at the end, AI is trained to be empathic, and just try to comply with you. So long story short, it's a tool. Use it for your benefit. Keep your assent, and yeah, that's it. What about you?
Yeah, I think I I want to bring this up as a closing thought, because I do this often, is going down rabbit holes. So like, uh, I'm just a curious person. I go down rabbit holes every now and then. The most recent one that I have gone into is World War II. Is because of the less context I had in terms of history that we are taught in India. And over a year and a half, I've watched, I think, around 37 movies and documentaries now.
Wow.
And I have like a mind map of how everything happened,
Nice.
and like go down rabbit holes.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
is.
improves your, thinking and reasonability, and like it's just a creative, like I get more creative when I have more context about how, humans have been evolving over time. And do the same with, like, as Kevin said, like pick one announcement,
Yeah.
try to like keep moving to another like hyped announcement. Just pick one that's gonna be most impactful for your use case or your work. Give it at least like a month to build something useful, because I think the hype cycle, what I've found is like it dies after like 10 days. So if you got influenced by a tweet or a post on LinkedIn, you'll try it out. It'll take you 10 days and you'll forget about it.
Yeah.
Give it a month, build something really useful and impactful out of whatever you picked. And I think that way it'll show results and adoption in a senseful manner, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that was a great topic, Rishab. I wish we had like 2 hours to talk about this.
Yes.
There's a lot, but I guess we'll see each other hopefully in another event. I'm going to DevRelCon. Do you know if you're going to DevRelCon?
Not yet, but looking forward to it if I go. But
There might be other events that we'll see each other.
definitely.
So
Thank you so much.
thank you, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you, everyone, and go agentic, but just take it with a grain of salt.